Hello and welcome to Planet's release of the Super Bowl Pools template. What this is really about is we're just showing some of the tools and techniques that we use in Excel for project management and metrics tracking. But this is a fun way to kind of take that information and kind of display it and use it and show you how it can be used in regular general use. So I hope you enjoy this and able to use it. And keep in mind that, again, this is something that can be applied to your everyday lives, especially if you use Excel. And if you're in project management especially, and you need metrics tracking, a lot of the functionality and things that you'll see in this video will hopefully help you in your daily lives. So feel free to review the document, give some feedback in the comments. We're going to go over how it works in just a second. And then we're going to run through the square spreadsheet and the fact that it is protected. However, you can unprotect it. There is no password, which is basically for those that are going to use it as is. You don't accidentally erase any formulas that are out there. So the spreadsheet is provided in the as-is condition. There are no warranties. Use at your own risk. Again, this is for fun. Take advantage of it. If you're concerned about calculations, make sure that you review them and make sure everything's functioning to the best of my ability. We've done that here. So as I said, this should be a lot of fun depending upon what you are charging for your pools, whether it's peanuts or Skittles. So we're going to go over the base information tab. We're going to go over the squares tab, filling in the squares tab. We're going to go over entering the scores at the end of the process once you're ready to enter the scores, and then what the colors mean when you match colors to the highlighted cells. There's a lot of conditional formatting in this, so you'll actually see things change as information changes. And then lastly, we're going to go over the point picker. So this is just a additional buy-in sheet that you can go have some fun based on type questions. So who's going to win based on points, what's the over-under on each of the different quarters all the way through the end of the game, and then that adds up to points as well as a point breaker. And I'll go over that in detail at the end of this as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you want to do when you open up the spreadsheet is you want to fill out this base information. So the title is the title. This is what shows up in your square sheet. The date, again, also what shows up in the square sheet. The cost per square, again, if you're dealing in Skittles, peanuts, drachma, whatever it is that you want to clarify as that dollar sign, whatever it means, doesn't really matter. The point is it's in quantities. So in our example, I've got $10 as my quantity. And just for fun, we'll say it's 10 Skittles. And the winner of the first quarter gets 15% of my total Skittles. So if I have 10 Skittles per square, that means there are 1,000 Skittles available for handing out based on the 4 quarters. The way we're going to do it today is, and we'll change this, but I'm saying 15% in the first quarter, 10% in the second, and 5% in the third. You are welcome to change this. So I'll do 20% in the first, 15%, and then I'll do 25%, and then that means 40% for the overall winner. It automatically changes that on the fly. Then you put your team 1 and team 2. Team 1 is usually going to be your favored team. Team 2 will be your underdog. Okay, a little disclaimer information, as well as a link to our website, so you can learn a little bit more about what Planet does, kind of how we apply some of these tools to our everyday life, and hopefully you'll be able to as well. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and go into filling the squares. So when we're filling the squares, ideally you're going to have this will all be blank. And the way you'll be able to see that is your gray cells are blank. When you get a copy of this, you're going to see it in sample data. The first thing that you're going to want to do is you'll want to delete all of the information that has squares filled out. Or you can leave it with persons in there knowing that it's available. But when you show this to folks, whoever wants to claim squares, everything will have this pound sign for each of the numbers that you'll draw later. So I'm going to go ahead and reverse these out just so you can see how this works. Okay, so we don't know what those numbers are yet, and that's very important that you wait until the end to draw those. And all of these will also be blank too. So when you delete this out, there's nothing in there for anybody to choose. It's all open. So when somebody wants to claim a square, you put their names over here. And usually it's first name, last initial, however you want to track it. Then you got to make sure you do not copy and paste in here. You want to enter them directly into this side. So whoever it is, person 1 as an example, we'll skip over and say person 3, whoever's going to be doing it, you want to make sure the spelling is the same over on this side and just type it in. Now you can copy from these cells and paste into the other cells. There's different conditional formatting, and that's why you don't want to copy from this side over to here. Okay. That being said, if I want to see how many squares person 1 has, I just put it in show my empty cells, and it'll highlight every person 1 that I have. So right now person 1 only has 1 cell, and you'll notice that that matches. So my 1 gray spot there matches over here. If person 2 has 14, let me see which cells they have. And there you go. That shows all 14 cells that they have. They come back and say, you know what, I want 15 cells, and you don't know how many they've done. This is the easy way to check. You can say they've got 14. I give them 1 more cell, so I'll say person 2. And then based on the value of my pool that I'm doing, my number will show up over here based on the number of cells that they have. Okay? All right, so real quick, just as another example too, so let's say we wanted to see person 3. You can see things switch around. So it also highlights who it is that you're doing, so you can see they have 6 squares, and it will automatically calculate the dollar total. You have to make sure that calculations are set to on. You might have to hit F9 to calculate, depending upon how you have your formula set to auto calculate. Okay, so now when somebody wants to get a new square, or you want to add squares, it's easy just to show that. So you can see all the gray is where the blank squares are. And that's where they can choose from. Makes it a lot easier. Sometimes they'll give you number squares, so this is going 1 to 10, 11 through 20, all the way down through 100. Okay. At the end of this, you'll basically get an idea of, okay, I've completed my squares. If not, this tells me I've got 48 taken currently. So if I were to close this out at this point in time, based on my squares that I have and squares left, if I do a full amount, in other words, all 100 squares are sold at the $10, this is what my payouts are. 200 based on the percentages I entered, 150, 250, and 400. Now, because I haven't actually placed all of the squares out, I'm only at $96, 72, 120. This is as of now, so until this gets filled out, that number will eventually be equal to it. If not, you have to choose how you want to run your pool. So let's say something, you go ahead and leave it open as this, and somebody doesn't actually win, it lands in between. You might have to split between all adjacent touching squares. That's up to you, however you want to run your pool. Okay? All right, so one of the things that we also want to go over is the fact that all the information at the top, and you'll see the colors here. So now let's talk about our colors. Before you can actually enter any winners into this, after you've closed out your pool and all of your numbers are filled out, the next thing you do is you want to draw your numbers 0 through 9. So you do them going across the top, then down across the bottom. So I'm just going to throw some numbers in. We're going to draw a 5, we'll draw a 9 and a 1, 2 and a 6 and a 3 and a 4 and a 6 and a 7 and a 0. Okay, so that we've drawn all our 0 through 9 numbers. Now we'll do the same thing going down. So at this point in time, let's draw a 7 and a 4 and a 1 and a 6 and a 9 and a 3 and a 2 and a 5 and a 0 and a 8. Okay. So now we've got our numbers. So that means that anything with a score that ends with the right side number of this is going to match the right side number of this, and that becomes the winning square. So as the game goes along, we want to fill in our score. So as an example, let's say the score is 3-0 at the end of the first. And this is by no means is going to be what's happened, but we're going to just do this for an example. So at the end of the first quarter, what that means is the red, which is our payout here, $96 would go to this square. Well, our usual rule of thumb is the adjacent squares next to it, and you can give priority to top, bottom, left, right, or diagonal, is up to you, would all split that amount. Okay, but that isolates out which quarter that is. Okay, so the quarter at the end of the second quarter is, you know, we've got a 3, and then now we have, let's say, 10 over here. So this is the winning square, 0 and 10. Okay, and as it continues to go, we will continue entering the scores. So as an example here, so our third quarter ends with a score of 21 to 23, let's say, and fourth quarter ends with a 51 to 25 or 28. Doesn't really matter. You'll notice that as the numbers match, the colors match. Now, here we show that there's only 3 colors showing, so we're missing our red. And the reality is the red is beneath the green. So when you're missing a color, that means that you've had a tie. So quarter one and quarter two tied in this square. So whoever the quarter one, quarter two winners were, that means that that's the same person. Okay, same square won both quarters. So be on the look on that if you don't see all the four colors. So just to kind of represent that, I'll change this number to a 12. Let's say that they got. So now we have our red and our green up here. So person 6, person 5, person 7, and our blank cell with whatever we choose to break that tie would be the red spot there. Okay. So let's go ahead and go over our point picker. So the point picker is really just an easy, our example has 6 questions and it's based on points. So you want to, who's going to win straight out is one question you can have. It's either a yes or no question or a pick the choice, one of 2 choices question. So each of these will work with whatever questions you want, just as long as there's 2 choices and only one of them can be the right answer. So these are the options here. At the end of the game, you'll actually fill in the right answer here and it will be based upon those 2 options. And depending upon what you select, the people's choices will actually fill in and turn green if they're correct and red if they're incorrect. Okay, so you end up getting a total number of pick points at the end of all of the different questions, and then the tiebreaker. In our example here, we have 2 people that are tied based on the number of greens they have. You put in the final score, and based on their pick for the final score, it will be the tiebreaker. So this person got second place, this person got first place because their points were closest to the tiebreaker amount. So according to whoever enters this, there's 1 entry per row. You want to make sure that you do not distribute this with everybody's picks to whoever's going to be doing. So you get the examples only, and then people can pick whatever they want. The important thing over here is really going to be the tiebreaker points. I think people can get the over-unders depending upon how many people are entering, and then also the value per entry that you charge. Again, we're doing 10 Skittles for every entry here. So as you do that, that'll fill up, and this will just show you who the winner is immediately based on, as soon as you plug in your winners here, you'll know who your winner is over here. It's an easy way to track it, an easy way to print it and share it as well when you distribute your Skittles. Well, that brings us to the end of our demo of the Super Bowl Pools template. Again, have fun using this. Hopefully it helps you out. Check everything, reverse engineer it. I do want to go over the protection. When it's saved as, it's saved in a protected mode. So what we have done is we've got areas that you're allowed to edit, specifically in the square sheet. There's a defined areas that you can edit. Everything else is uneditable. It comes out in protected mode. So this is how it's delivered, so you can't go through and you cannot delete things that you don't want to delete. So nothing up in this area, everything that has formulas we don't want to delete. Okay? So now if you want to edit it for some reason, all you do is unprotect the sheet. You can edit to your heart's delight. You can copy cells based on what the value is. This is a great example of how we reference another tab within the same spreadsheet. There are some, if you look at the conditional formatting, you can see specifically the different rules that we have for the spreadsheet that do colorization. So based on values and everything else. All right. And then in the very beginning, there's also a link to our website. And if you go to the website, it has information about all the different things that Planet does. There's a blog as well as the blog that posted this site is all on the blog, so you're welcome to come visit and make comments back in there. So have a great day, good luck, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.